Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another segment of Toast the Toss. I am your host, Sanskar, and I have the finalists with me, Bidhu, our regular one, and we have come back after a fantastic debut. Shashank, we have here with us. Welcome, gentlemen, to this yet another segment. A lot has panned out over the past week. A very thrilling opening week for the Indian Premier League 2025. We saw a great opening of RCB, followed by some scintillating batting performances at Hyderabad. Then we came to some retro style T20 cricket back in Chennai, where we saw some low scoring thriller. And then the same trend continued. Uh, Same trend of ruthless batting again continued at Vizag, followed by Ahmedabad. And again, yesterday we saw another game of that same old low scorer at Guwahati. Lots to unpack, lots to unravel in this brief stint that we have had so far. I will start off with the proceeding straight away by asking, what were your top moments of this particular week, whatever has panned out? I'll start with Shashank today.
Okay, I think the for me the top moment was Krunal getting Venkatesh Iyer out, because if you look at a spinner and throwing a bouncer on the head, and that too for a guy like Venkatesh Iyer, I think that was well thought of and well planned one. And I think that bouncer maybe put him off altogether. And I think he put on a helmet, and the next ball you see was full end delivery, and he was bowled. I think that was a top moment of the entire week for me, because that deserves a good planning. And Kunal Pandya also told later, why should fast bowlers have all the fun, right? So spinners should also come into the party, and that was a great wicket. I think that was one of the top moments for me of the last week. Kunal Pandya picking Iyer's wicket, and in general, Kunal's performance itself,
Yeah.
3 wickets which he picked up, but that bouncer to Iyer was one of the top moments for me.
Not to make any comparisons here, but I think the only time I remember very vaguely a spinner bowling a bouncer was probably Anil Kumble. I haven't ever seen a spinner bowling that high a bouncer ever. So it was good
Yeah.
to see spinner bowling a relatively short bouncer. So that was great. For me, yep, I would pretty much agree. RCB made a commendable start to their tournament. I would say the top moment, however, in this brief stint has to be that Delhi versus LSG game. Um, Usually the monkey, I would say, that follows with a player who's performed exceedingly well in one season is they shouldn't earn the tag of that one season wonder or the one season bunny, like they say in meme language. And I'm glad that Ashutosh is not among them. He had a great stint with Punjab Kings last year. I was slightly surprised that Punjab didn't consider retaining him. They did go with Shashank, who also paid his dividends in the Punjab and Gujarat game. But I think uh, the circumstances in which Ashutosh delivered, team down half the side down at 66, if my memory serves me right. And from there on, that's great partnership between two uncapped players, Vipraj Nikam and Ashutosh Sharma. I thought brought Delhi right through the game. And these are the close nail biters that fans crave for, and I'm really, really glad we got to see one such. Bidhu, what was your favorite moment?
So the two best ones you already have taken. So I'll just trickle down. So there are a couple of moments which I would like to say, but those are not in the winning moments. But I'll take one from the winning moment, which is Quinton de Kock's knock last night. Reason is simple because, as Shashank said, when KKR played RCB, they completely nosedived when the spinners came on. They were looking good. KKR was looking good, but once RCB spinners came, they started losing wickets. So yesterday, the only chance which RR had was the spinners taking wickets, which Quinton de Kock did not allow. He even Jofra Archer, the first 2 overs he bowled really well, and then once the spinners came in, I was hoping that at least couple of being an RR fan, I was hoping at least couple of wickets to fall. but Quinton just held on to one end. And when once you know that he's also retired, so he's not actually actively playing, to come and give that level of a performance in a pitch which is slightly slower, I think that's what stands out for me.
Absolutely. As far as spinning web goes, I think spinners have definitely left a mark in this particular tournament. We started off with Krunal Pandya. I think enough has been discussed. But I am very, very glad to see that Indian Premier League is bringing out such great spinners. And two such names off the top of my head that come to my mind. One being the Kerala youngster Vignesh Puthur. I thought he bowled exceptionally well for his first game. In a high pressure game, Mumbai versus CSK, the El Clasico, as they say for IPL. Never easy to make a debut. It almost, I think Mumbai versus CSK in Chennai has almost become a resemblance for youngsters making debut. Let's take a trip down memory lane for 2015. Hardik Pandya, who can forget that three sixes exploit against Pawan Negi. That was some way to announce himself in front of the world. And cut to 10 years later, we have Vignesh Puthur. Though it came in a losing cause, but I think brilliant stuff nonetheless. The only other name that I remember also is Sai Kishore. For some reason, Sai Kishore is not given enough credit in the domestic circuit. But when you think of spinners who are getting ready, who are just about there to mark, to sort of make a mark into the domestic circuit or international circuit, you will see Sai Kishore's name right up there. These were the two standout spinning experts that I could think of. Of course, there's Noor Ahmed, but I think Noor Ahmed has sort of established himself a lot. So the fofo from him wasn't really a surprise, although still great. But I would still like to know. I know I sort of gobbled up most of the points, but I would still like to know your thoughts on these three.
I think while we talk about the spinners, I think we should not forget about the impact Mitchell Stark had. Right, it's always the spinners who are hit for runs, but Stark, I think the Yorkers which he bowled the other day was only he can bowl such Yorkers. Right, I think the KKR really are missing Stark. I think Spencer Johnson is not a leg-to-leg replacement for Stark. I think KKR's loss is Delhi's gain. I think the Yorkers were really brilliant. Speaking of spinners, I think the stumping which Dhoni, had the other day, who can say he's 43 years old, right? And he's continuing. I probably will see him for the next 3 years again. I think they want him only as a keeper at the Chennai squad. And I think Dhoni also made a comment the other day saying CSK will make me play even if I'm on a wheelchair, as long as he's keeping the wickets well. I think the stumping which Dhoni had, I think I forgot who the bowler was, but was it Noor? But it was brilliant. I
Certainly,
think
Ahmed.
the reflexes which he had, the hands did not even go back. As soon as the ball touched the gloves, the bails were off. I think there is no better keeper in the world than Dhoni, even at this age. I think while we are talking about spinners, I think the fast bowler one Stark deserves some acknowledgement. And again, uh, Dhoni's stumping was the icing on the cake, cherry on the cake for the entire last week's performance, I would add.
I think we did mention in the preview of CSK, they have a 43-year-old youngster, uncapped player being retained, actually showing his youth exuberance by that lightning fast stump. Brilliant way to dismiss Surya Kumar Yadav, which also turned out to be the turning point of that game. And while we're talking about keepers, one interesting trend. I think keepers are being very eco-friendly. We had Dhoni who had zero of two balls, so two trees from him. We had Rishabh Pant who had zero of six
Six.
balls, so six trees from him. Mother Earth was definitely missing its biggest protector, who is Daddy KL Rahul. Congratulations to him on from the behalf of Toes Toss on him being a father. But I really do think Mother Earth definitely missed KL Rahul, the keeper, for adding more dots or adding more trees to the cause. So that is one trend I wanted to catch up on. Barring that, uh, Bidhu, anything from you?
No, I think the first week has been on the expected lines. We already had discussed how RR is going to struggle with the bowling. I think it has two games. It has been proven even the spinners are not that competent on a track like Guwahati. The Pacers were taken for the cleaners in Hyderabad. Rishabh Pant, I think he has a lot. I think it's a critical year for him as a player in T20, as a captain for an IPL side, because his performances in IPL hasn't been up to the mark, at least to the expectation of a couple of owners. Uh, uh, and he actually had a chance to close the game for LSG. He had a stumping which he could have done. He appealed. I don't think it was a good appeal also. And after that, also his the bowling, which he gave to a spinner instead of a Shardul Thakur, can be questioned as a captaincy. Uh, Mumbai losing the first game again. They do not seem to win the first game every season after season. But considering that it was in Chennai, they would take the fact that Chennai is one of the top teams, so losing to them is not a big concern for them. But how long is Bumrah not there is a big question for them. You see, the absence of Bumrah is hurting them. In Chennai, they had a lot of spin bowling overs because they did not trust the pacers to do the job. So unless Bumrah comes, of course, when Hardik comes, he will bowl a couple of overs. But without Bumrah, Mumbai bowling attack is going to be a little bit dicey. You see Trent Bolt and Deepak Chahar, frontline bowlers, they are not going to bowl at the death. So I'll be keeping a keen eye on how Mumbai marshal their bowlers. And for the RCB fans, I think you would see a good RCB team on the park now, especially with the players contributing. I think it looks a different side with Patidar, a young captain. And I think Patidar and Kohli combo might be the answer for which you are looking for a decade now.
Me and Shashank would have to touch our wooden desk as a touchwood gesture because we really hope RCB continue their experts like they did against KKR. But interesting points you make there, Vidhu. Thanks for that. Uh, but one thing I think it's discussion worthy is that I feel this is something we've been seeing from the last year. I think weak bowling isn't really a concern to the franchises anymore. And spare me a few seconds to explain this because I did mention this on a brief basis in one of the podcasts. KKR last year, they conceded 260 against Punjab. They almost conceded 220 against RCB. They did concede 224 against Rajasthan Royals, yet they ended up winning. I think, and we also, if we were to look into SRH scored a lot. In the first time they scored 270 odd against Mumbai. Mumbai ended up scoring 235, 240. But then again, they scored 288 against RCB. RCB also ended up scoring 263. So I believe the trend is slightly shifting from having that bowling, having that blend of bowling and batting to becoming completely batting oriented because pitches are becoming flatter than ever. Bowlers are almost afraid. Bowlers are having sort of a, dare I say, pre-existential crisis because Rabada out and out says that this is become a batter's league now. The existence is coming into question. Only pitches like Chennai or Guwahati seem to be like a saving grace for these bowlers. And the reason I say that, now look at SRH. SRH were on the quest to score 300 runs. I think if that one over in between had gone in their favor with not too many dots, they were on course to score 300. And even in that game, RR showed some resilience, scored almost 240 odd. You can take Punjab and Gujarat. Punjab scored 243, but until Vaishak's over, Gujarat was very much in that game. So as a fan, I know I took a lot of time explaining this phenomenon, but I want to know both your thoughts. As a fan, are you satisfied to see this batting exploits, or are you still a craver of those low scorer 160, 170, 180 thrillers? And it's the irony that I say 160, 170, 180 are low scoring because this used to be the epitome of high scoring at one point in time.
Yeah. I Completely agree with your point. I, as a fan, would like to uh, watch close contests, not one SRH scoring 270, 280, 260 odd, and other team struggling. If you look at the other game against SRH, the other team almost reached, but they were never in the game, right? So it should never be one-sided. The point here is the impact play rule. I think the impact play rule has given the batsman the freedom to go and play the batsman, the other team out of the competition. I think with that one extra batter, I think most of the teams are aggressive. They don't care about losing wickets. And the same goes with bowlers as well. You made a brilliant point there, Sanskar. I think bowlers nowadays are not trying to be aggressive and pick up wickets. Their only job is to try to contain the batsman because they know they're going to hit anyway. So gone are the days when we used to see a lot of flighted deliveries and batsmen trying to step out and stumped, etc. I don't think that's happening anymore. They're trying to bowl faster or they're trying to deceive the batsman, thereby trying to curtail the run flow. But I think that there's no end to that now. Again, if you ask me, I would say I still want to see those 170, 180, and close counters where both the teams are in the fight, and we should go to the last over, right? If SRH or RCB scores 250, 260 plus, we can almost rule out the other team out. They will come closer, but it's as good as not watching the match. That's when the match starting to get boring. So I am against the impact play rule because it takes away the competition and the freedom or the aggressiveness of the bowlers are trimmed down. I would like to see close contests, proper fair fight between bat and ball.
My take would be almost similar when it comes to the competitiveness of two sides. But see, the problem here is there is a difference between IPL and the international tournaments. So in IPL, what happens? There are 14 games, out of which 7 games are in your home side, like a home ground. So let's say, for example, SRS, they have designed the team where they are going to score 250 plus. They're targeting to score 250 plus in every game, and the conditions favor that. Now, let's say suppose a team like Chennai, which is designed for low scoring, they have spinners all around. If they come to SRH and let's say SRH wins the match and wins the toss and they score 250, very rarely does Chennai going to chase that unless somebody plays a blinder or something. Same with RR. Even though RR scored 240, it was always feeling like a one-sided game. There was no competition. They were always behind the rate. We knew that they are not going to chase it. Uh, the game which is happening now, it is happening in SH, and SH know that LSG has a strong batting lineup. So they have to outbat themselves. Like they know that there is not, if they score somewhere around 220, they're going to lose. So they're targeting 280, 290, and hence they are not able to score even 200. And now we will see a competitive match today. So if both the teams are designed to outback each other, then there will be competition. I'm totally okay with that. But if the teams are lopsided and you play 7 games in your home and you have strengthened your batting, then it is going to be a problem. Same when SRH is going to Chennai. If they say that, okay, doesn't matter, we'll lose one game, we'll drop a game, but we'll pack up our side with batters. It doesn't matter that if they don't come up in Chennai or in Guwahati, because they know that 2 games is fine to lose. So then you will find a lot of one-sided games happening, which you cannot control because this is how IPL is designed and this is how teams are actually trying to. So they have to win 8 matches. That's how they have to plan how to win 8 matches. So I think we just have to enjoy the batting.
I think
Okay.
one question to both of you: can we see a 300 being scored this time?
Absolutely, Shashank, because I think this doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. Team India themselves, I think they got very close to 300 on a couple of occasions, if my memory serves me right. So yeah, as sad as the state of affairs maybe for the bowlers, I think the reality is batters are becoming very innovative with time, and I don't think 300 in T20s is a distant reality anymore. It is going to become a realistic reality in coming days.
I think some stat was being scored, stated somewhere. I think if I can recollect it, every T20 game, you get 30 to 40 dot balls, no matter where you play, no matter which format it is. And then it becomes a game of how many sixes can the team score. I was counting the number of sixes RR scored, it was way above SRH, and that's how they reached to 240, even though they lost a lot of wickets in power plays. So now you add the ground size, so it then becomes how much is 300? You just divide it how many sixes does the team need to hit. So 300 is
50.
plausible, but yeah, with good captaincy, I think 260, 280 is something where we can reach. Beyond that, some team has to really bowl poorly, really, really bowl poorly.
A lot of sense. Now, I have a couple of questions here. Bidu, this question is for you. Where do you stand on this whole impact player rule? Do you think it's benefiting cricket in the long run, or is it actually curbing a player's ability? Because on one end, in international cricket, we are seeing a trend where you are expecting batters at number eight, number nine. If if God willing, it can reach up to number 11 as well. But is this something that you want to see? Is that helping that cause? Or is it sort of curbing an all-rounder's ability? Where do you stand on the impact player rule?
It's definitely hurting the all-rounders because if somebody is a 30% bowler and 70% batsman, so his 30% is not will not be utilized. They will have a proper bowler. So in that sense, it is hurting the all-rounders. But for the game, I think it is fine. And the game can be utilized well. But again, the reason why it is lopsided is because let's say you bring a impact sub batter. He can bat as long as he wants. He will stay not out. He'll play 60 balls if needed. But if you bring an impact bowler, he can only bowl 4 overs. So it's not like he is going to bowl for 8 overs if he's fit and he's if he's bowling well. So again, right now the impact sub is helping the batters more because they know that there can be an extra batter pulled out from nowhere, from the dugout. Uh, but yeah, if you design it in such a way that the impact sub batter can only bat for 30 balls or 20 balls, let's say, then things can again go back to normalcy. Then you know that you have 12 players. You have to use that one extra player depending upon the situation of the match. Because yesterday, RR, I think RR are the one side which used Impact Player really, really well. Yesterday, what they did is it was very surprising for the opposition that they bought an Impact player as a batter when batting first because they had already were playing with 5 bowlers. So the expectation was they are going to bowl second and bowler and get an Impact player as a bowler, but they got a batter. So it would have little bit changed the mindset of the opposition, but it didn't work out well for the RR. They lost the game, but they used it very smartly yesterday.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Thanks, Vidhu, for that. Shashank, my question to you. Um, I think India traditionally, at least for the longest time, has been very top heavy when it comes to talented batters. So anyone who's batting at opening or number three, it's a distant dream for them to make debut for Team India unless you're a KL Rahul who's very flexible anywhere between 1 to 6. Uh, but that being said, you're seeing a breath of fresh air with the likes of uh, Ashutosh Sharma, Shashank Singh, who, by the way, have established themselves in the past year. Uh, then you also have someone like a Rinku Singh. Now, Rinku Singh, I love this player two bits. I love him a lot. But I just feel from the past year, KKR and even Team India to some extent haven't utilized him to the fullest. And even when they have, I think the past year for Rinku Singh has been a little dull. So do you think with these emergence of new mid-order batters, if they really make a strong case, if they are really consistent with the likes of Shashank or Ashutosh, can they actually stake claim if Rinku Singh doesn't catch up the ladder soon enough?
I think you're spot on. I think Rinku Singh is in trouble. This is the last chance for him to prove because he was always there in the radar but never made it. I mean, to be fair, he performed well when he was given a chance with the Team India. But when you have people like Shashank Singh and Ashutosh and we have Priyansh also opening the batting and doing really well the other day, the fight is such that we have two different teams for two different we have a different ODI team and different T20 team here. So we have a lot of people who are in contention. You have one bad match, they say it's okay. You have a second bad match, all eyes are on you. Third bad match, you are never in the reckoning once again. You will have to prove all over again by being in the top five list of run scorers. Only then you have a chance of coming back. So for someone like Rinku or someone who is in the frills of Team India who is just in and out of team, I think this is the last chance for them because we have a lot of people coming up this time. bowlers as well as batters. So if you are out of radar once, like Yuzvendra Chahal, for example, where is he now? He's always performing well at IPL, but with more and more talents coming up and more people coming in, I don't think if you are out of reckoning once, you should really perform to the potential, maybe in the top three or top five in the batting or bowling charts. Only then you can make a comeback. So for Rinku, he should have a breakthrough performance. To be fair, last year he was never given a chance. He was batting at number six or seven. And what can you do at six or seven? So this time, I think with the likes of Shreyas not being there, and he has the potential of batting at five. But again, if you look at the trend now, Ankrish is coming up and Vinky I did not even bat, and only then Rinku comes in. So again, it's still bad days ahead for him. But only if the top order fails and Rinku gets a chance, he can at least have a chance of representing India, or else it's going to be tough because Shashank, Ashutosh, two, three more matches, they will be in India A. You play well in India A, you come back to ODI team. I think that's the trend going on now. But this is like a make or break season for all the people who are in and out of the team. You lose this chance, the newcomers will take your spot.
Uh, Thank you very much, Shashank, on a very nuanced opinion about that. And just to take this point further, we have a T20 World Cup next year hosted by India. India will definitely give everything to defend their crown. And from what I gather, I think T20 team-based selection will be more on trends because just to give you a perspective, uh, before the England T20 series, uh, Sanju Samson's pace seemed like a certainty because he had scored about 3 to 4 centuries, 3 centuries, if my memory serves me right. Questions were on Abhishek. Abhishek ended up scoring one half century and that one huge mammoth 135 at Wankhede. And Sanju, well, unfortunately, had a very torrid T20 series. So now the opinion became that Abhishek is a certainty. Questions on Sanju Samson. That just goes on to show that the competition is cutthroat. The competition is uh, so, I would say, multilateral because you have multiple options. I mean, just imagine if the likes of Yashasvi Jaiswal or Shubman Gill, who are like probably the best batting prodigy of Indian cricket at the moment. If they don't get a spot in T20 side, that shows the depth and that shows the bucket that we have. And I think this is the team-based section, team selection is going to be based on the trends. So I think it becomes very paramount for players like Rinku Singh or even Rishabh Pant for that matter, was an integral part of the T20 World Cup squad, but ever since then his T20 stocks have never gone up. So all in all, I think a lot of competition to come ahead. But I would still like to gather final thoughts from both Bidhu and Shashank.
Uh, yeah, I think it's going to be very competitive to establish your stay in your Indian team. It has to be very performance based, and there's very little margin of error if you lose form or you get injured and somebody else takes your place and he starts doing well. We have seen the likes of Ishan Kishan. I think he scored a 200, not finding a place in the team. But when you look at the Indian team as as a larger picture, I think it's great for the Indian team because we will never be short of talented players. We are going to win. The only point which would be a point of issue would be when you go to the knockouts. That's where the little things matter. How much have you played with each other? How much you have the familiarity of playing in the knockouts. That's why you always saw Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma playing in finals without fear because they have played a lot of finals. But if you keep on changing the team, the players who would be in knockouts would always be the first time they're in knockouts. So there, that 1% margin might go either way. They can win or they might not win also. So that's the only thing. We'll win a lot of bilaterals because everybody knows how to play well. They have played international ballers in IPL. So a lot of bilateral wins you will get. But on the critical matches, knockouts, the finals, you need a player who feels at home with the team, who is not worried about his performance, who is more team player like person. Two people can help. One is the coach and the IPL owners. I think last time a couple of players were batting in their own position instead of IPL franchisee based position. I had heard Shivam Dube was playing because Dhoni knew that his selection is important. So he was giving him as much as option as possible at that position number 4 because he always knew that Shivam Dube has the contention to be in the Indian team. I think to an extent, KL Rahul also played in his desired position because he was also vying for that place in T20 or one day side. So you would see certain things, but for strict franchises, they also have money riding. They sometimes will not entertain these things like Shashank said, Rinku did not get opportunity. They did not get opportunity because KKR was doing well up front. The batters, Narayan was opening. Gambhir wanted Narayan to open. Else Rinku would have come at number 5. So it depends. But as a player, I think do well in IPL. Sometime you will find a place in Indian team. The best case is Sandeep Sharma. Time and again, he comes to the IPL. He does well. He will not be selected in Indian team, but he is not worried about that. He just performs.
Shashank, your thoughts.
I think once you have the pressure of Team India selections, I think you are uh, gone basically. If Jaiswal or Gill, for that matter, who are almost certainties, if you say, if you talk about ODIs, maybe, if you say, okay, we have the T20 World Cup coming up, I need to represent India, etc., and if they go with that mindset, they are bound to fail. So people who are not so bothered about the selections, I think they will perform well. That is one thing to add. Second point is we have two different teams here, ODI and T20. T20 teams. I think all of these top performance from IPL can only represent the T20 squad. They can't and they don't have the, I can't say talent is the wrong word here, but they don't have the mindset to represent the ODI squad because it's a longer game. So you can play maybe 12 ball 30 for all we know in T20s, but that can't happen in ODIs. You need proper maybe timing or proper mindset to stay and play. So all these IPL performers can knock the doors of the T20 teams, but they should not go with the pressure of Team India selections because once they think about the selections and maybe I should stay and play like KL Rahul, for example, 40 balls, 50 balls, the score will take care of itself, they are bound to fail. So if they go with that free attitude, like how maybe Abhishek Sharma plays sometimes, I think that's the chance you have because you don't have the pressure of performing. So that's when you can perform. But all these people will can represent the T20 squad, but ODI, you need people like the Rohit Sharmas, the Virat Kohlis, and the Shubman Gills who will stay, who can play both the games, the defensive as well as the aggressive games.
All
Just
right,
to just
gentlemen.
to take
Yeah.
Shashank points, the names that you have mentioned, Dhoni, Kohli, Rohit, you don't see freakish performances from them in IPL. Their performances are always steady. They would be in the 600 runs and something, but they will not have a freakish innings. I think the last freakish innings of Dhoni was when he took, like he was hitting his helmet and everything against Punjab in 2000, way back in 12, 13 or something. Uh, you will get freakish innings like Ambati, I think Aditya Tare, freakish six that he hit. Ashutosh Sharma, again, the last inning was freakish, but he has to again prove Shashank. But yeah, it's a strange thing. You see this freakish innings or freakish bowling performances by players who are not in the fringes. But for the ones who have established themselves, you get steady, good performances from them time to time. Consistency is there. So I think consistency matters a lot. Rinku
Yeah.
Singh went really into the radar of Indian team because of the 5 6s that he hit. But again, people are looking for his consistency. How much is he contributing to the IPL franchise year after year? So I think that will define that Team India selections.
Understood. And yep, very compelling points made by both of you. Thank you, Bidhu and Shashank. With that, I believe we have come to the end of this particular segment. Thank you, both gentlemen, with your insights. And let's hope that this IPL has a lot more to offer. It has a lot for batsmen and a lot for bowlers as well. And with this hope, we conclude today's segment. Thank you very much. Take care, and we'll see you in the next segment. Goodbye.